All right, welcome you all today, or I'd like to welcome you all today. What's up, you all? Welcome, welcome, my people. We have a good show lined up for you all today. What's up, Jimmy? What's up, my family on YouTube? Good Rising, Ace. What's up? What's up, Michelle? Michella. What's up, Maine? What's up, Naja? Yeah, today. What's up, Nivlek? Am I saying that right? Nivlek 1230. What's up, Forrest NoCal? What's up, Zoo? What's up from Michigan, Kendall Francis? What's up? What's up, oh 07? What's up, Duncan? Um, yeah, what's up, y'all? Uh, what's up, yoga therapy? What's up, you all? So, yeah, uh, this video today is brought to you all by Black Lives Matter Global Network. Black Lives Matter Global Network seeks to empower disenfranchised Black people in America. Um, and we are thankful for Black Lives Matter. BLM is positively changing the world and making the world a better place. And so we are very thankful for uh, Black Lives Matter. Okay, so I got that out of the way. Now let's get down to the show. Um, let's get down to the show. Where is? Here we go. Okay, so now I want to start with. Let me go all the way to the. So I saw this on one of my friends' pages, and it said, "We have created a culture that is anti consequence for bad behavior." What's up, JT? We have created a culture that is anti consequence for bad behavior. So if you notice the crime in these cities, and mainly these liberal and democratic cities, the crime rate is escalated. So they don't have enough police officers in these cities. And so the criminals know this, and the people that want to be criminals know this. And so what's happening is it's the holiday season. So a lot of people are just basically stealing from businesses. This is happening nationwide in your most uh, wokest cities in America. Um, Somebody said in Philly, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Portland, all the woke cities, the crime is skyrocketing. And can you explain what's up? South Carolina's in the house. Um, can you explain what the call was about with the Roman Catholics versus Christianity? Oh, the live is saved on my the live is saved on my page of that night. Anyway, but the crime has skyrocketed, and what you'll see is, as I told you all before, the issue with the whole racism thing is we're actually fighting to do what's wrong. What we're actually fighting for is the right to do what's wrong. And so I talked about Black culture, and let me say this real quick. I posted a video that got removed of the little 4-year-old girl, or maybe she was 3 or 4 years old, and she was trying to imitate a woman twerking on her dad. Now, I did a video about it, and the video was removed. Now, the video was said that it went against the guidelines. Now, I want to just say this real quick. I was the only person that actually blurred out the little girl's face. I never showed the little girl's face, and the videos I showed were blurred out, and you couldn't see it was her. I was the only one that blurred out that baby. The only one. And my video got removed. I went and looked yesterday, and the video was still up, and the video was still viral. So I asked myself, why would they remove my video and not anyone else's video? I'll tell you, because I was attacking Black culture. And I realized something, that Black culture itself is something that everybody makes money off of. Black culture itself is an economy, is an economic driver. So a lot of Black people are basically brainwashed and conditioned by Black culture. And a lot of white people are brainwashed and conditioned by Black culture. I'm using the terms white and Black for context. But they removed the video I did on the little girl twerking on her father, but I know why they removed it. And they removed it because I was attacking Black culture. And Black culture is needed for all of this stuff to make sense. So we have created a culture that is anti-consequence for bad behavior. That right there is the foundation for Black culture. This statement right here, and I got it from Bree Cruz's page. This quote right there is the foundation of Black culture. And what happens is, once you adopt this, creating a culture that is anti-consequence for bad behavior, now I can pretty much sell you anything. I can sell you anything. And so what I've noticed is that I've been intentionally shadow banned on Instagram. Now, many people will say, well, you can't say this, you can't do this, you can't do all this. But at the end of the day, if they keep you in check on social media, they'll keep you in check in real life. Like all this stuff is a test and it's a buildup. So if they're not gonna, if a man is abusive, he doesn't just come out and punch you in the face on the first date. He's gonna start off subtly by saying things negatively to you, attacking your self-esteem, doing threatening gestures, posturing, and then it leads to hitting. The man's not gonna just come out and start being domestically abusing you. It's gonna be a buildup. And so what you find is they start putting fear into people in social media because they say, or a person will say, I don't want to lose my platform. So what happens is, that you won't lose your platform, that's a way of controlling you. I'm sorry. That's a way of controlling, because let's be honest, the people that really follow you at this point are going to be people that are already down with you. And like, getting new followers will come through TikTok, Instagram. That'll be your new getting new follower market, maybe even YouTube. But your own private stuff, it's going to be hard to get new followers, because what's going to make somebody come and want to pay to hear you talk? It's just the way they have things set up. So even censoring us on these platforms still makes us somewhat acquiesce to what they're doing. What's up, Mimi? But let me go to they have a new, trying to get to this. Here we go. So now let's get started. And I want to start with this. So right here, for you all that can't see, I have a picture of a sign, colored waiting room. Underneath the sign, I have a picture of the Instagram logo, and I have the YouTube logo with a halo on it. Now, out these past weeks, and they just been removing videos for all kinds of violations. But I realized why they're removing my content. I did a video once on my last account on YouTube that got canceled, where where I did a video talking about how the rap music directly was influencing our children negatively, and they removed it. And so what I'm telling you all is that this is racism. What you all are talking about is racism is not racism. This is racism, because what they're saying is someone that looks like me can't say these types of things. That is racism. They're saying that someone like me shouldn't be able to make money being conservative. That's racism. Racism is economic. So essentially, what YouTube and Instagram are saying is that because you look like you shouldn't be allowed to have a platform saying the things that you're saying. And many of my own people would agree with it. So my video got removed. My video got removed because I was attacking, and I've been attacking, Black culture. And this, everybody feeds off of Black culture. The Democrats feed off of Black culture. White liberals feed off of Black culture. BLM feed off of Black culture. All these entities feed off of Black culture. And so if I address Black culture, meaning I don't talk about white people, I don't talk about Black people, if I address Black culture, that is the real threat, because this stuff only works because we are all heavily programmed, conditioned, and indoctrinated into Black culture. So what Instagram and YouTube are making clear is that because you look how you look, you can't address these issues. Now, guess what? Instagram and YouTube have no problem with me cracking jokes. Instagram and YouTube have no problem with me English. Instagram and YouTube have no problem with me promoting violence against my own people. Instagram and YouTube have no problem with me promoting decadence to my own people. They have no problem with it. I didn't lose friends. I didn't lose friends and friends and family until I started telling the truth. I didn't lose friends and family until I started telling the truth. When I stopped telling jokes and started getting real, that's when I lost my friends and my family. How ironic. How ironic for me to lose my friends and family when I start telling the truth. But what you all must understand is there will come a time where you will not be able to tell the truth. It's going to be illegal, literally illegal, for you to tell the truth. And so now I see it. I see my own people reluctant to tell the truth out of fear of being ostracized from their own community. Let me tell you all something right now. Black culture doesn't hold anyone accountable. So if Black culture cancels you on Tuesday, they're going to love you on Wednesday. Don't ever be afraid of thinking that Black people are going to cancel you, because Black people don't have enough character to cancel anyone. They don't have enough character. Trust me. Don't ever be afraid of being canceled by Black people, because Black people don't have enough cultural character to cancel anyone. But the message that social media is conveying is that if you look like me, you must stay in this certain box. This is the danger in being Black, is because when you are Black, you are controlled automatically. But let me really begin now. That was just a warm up to what I was talking about. So I was talking with someone, and I was telling them about how basically the UN is going to come over here behind racism. So you must think about a strategy of war. If you wanted to bring troops over here, what would be a way to bring troops over here that would make people not be able to publicly say they shouldn't be over here? You make it to where the troops are coming over here for a problem that America can't apparently fix. Now, when I was telling my friend this, she couldn't understand what I was saying, but hopefully I can walk you all through this so you can actually see and understand what I'm saying. Now, and again, I know my account is being heavily shadow banned. I know it is. I can tell. I can tell. And I get it because I'm telling the truth. And I always make the argument, if you're fighting against the system, why is your account not being bothered? If I'm working with the system, why am I being censored? It just doesn't make any sense. Clearly, whatever I'm saying has to be the truth, because they're going against me. They're not going against you. They're not going against TD Jakes. They're not going against BLM. They're not going against these people. They're not going. So why are they going against me and not going against the folks fighting against the system? Well, maybe common sense should tell you that they're not actually going against the system. They're working with the system. So this article right here is talking about how China and the U.S. spar over racism. And now this woman right here, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, she was talking about how she experienced racism. But the racism she experienced wasn't really racism. She just experienced someone calling her the N-word. That's not racism. Listen, people are allowed to not like you for whatever reason. That is not racism. Racism is her not being allowed to be the U.S. ambassador to United Nations. That's racism. So you can't be a U.S. United Nations ambassador and say that America's racist because you wouldn't have had the position. I'll say it again. You can't be a U.S. ambassador for the United States, meaning you're representing the United States to the rest of the world, and America be racist. They wouldn't pick a melanated woman to represent the country if America was racist. Do you understand how they've reduced racism to the average white person not liking you? But guess what? That is the setup. So China's been very vocal about how America is racist. How? Through police brutality. Now, I've done many videos on how police brutality is not really a real thing. It's not real. I know you all think it's real because the media shows you one video 1,000 times. So your subconscious can't distinguish 1,000 police murders of one. Your subconscious can't distinguish between one murder of a person shown 1,000 times versus 1,000 different murders. And so if you ask the average person, they'll tell you that they are kicking people off your live. Look what I just got told. They are kicking people off my live. How can I tell? I can tell because the views. The views. I'm gonna pin that comment. Now they are kicking people off my live. So you must ask yourself a question. Just ask yourself. Just think about it. If I'm working for the system, why don't they want people to listen to what I'm saying? If the message I'm conveying is for the system, it's for white America, it's for white people, then why would the white people not want me to convey my message? Why not? Now, what I'm telling you is these are what you call scare tactics, right? Because what they do is they do this so that you don't talk like this on social media. China bashes US over racism, inequality, and pandemic response. China is taking the US to task over racism, financial inequality, and the government's response to the coronavirus in an annual report that seeks to counter US accusations of human rights abuses by China's ruling Communist Party. So what you all don't realize is that when the UN comes over here to investigate racism, what do you think they're going to find? When the US comes over here to investigate racism, what do you think they are going to find? I will tell you what they are going to find. Hold on one second, I'm sorry. What they are going to find is that there is racism in America. So my question to you all is, how would the UN help cure America of racism? Now, when the UN finds racism, let's say they find racism in corporate America, what are they going to do? How is the UN going to make corporations hire people of color. So clearly, their goal wouldn't be to talk about racism in corporate America. Their goal wouldn't be able to talk about the black dollar only lasting in our community 6 seconds. Their goal when it comes to racism wouldn't be actual racism, that it wouldn't be something that wasn't popular. Them talking about racism wouldn't be something that wasn't popular. So when the UN came over here, they would say things like, oh, police brutality, oh, white supremacy, oh, white privilege. They would say the things that everybody else was familiar with. So if they were investigating racism, they wouldn't actually be investigating racism. What they would be doing is perpetuating an already false narrative. So now when the UN comes over here, they're going to say, okay, guess what? We found that there is racism in America. Okay, where'd you find it? In the police. So if policing is racist, what type of police officers are racist? White ones. So we see the crime going up and the police resigning. So isn't it funny that the homicide rate in our community is going up, is skyrocketing, as the police are resigning? It is a literal contradiction to the narrative. It's literal. The police are resigning and the homicide and crime rate is skyrocketing in our community. Not just in America, but specifically in our community with the homicides. So when the UN comes over here, they say, well, we know there's racism in the police. In the police. What would be the other area they notice racism in? What would be the other area? Okay, so we have an anti-Asian hate bill, meaning America recognizes that the Asian people have been hated on by who? White people. So now we have white people, and thank you all for my badges. Now we have white people, police officers. Now we have white citizens going against Asians. This article says the long history of racism against Asian Americans in the US. So this is something they say has been going on for a very long time. But the funny thing is, all the articles are recent. It's funny that they say that the American hate's been going on a long time, but all the articles are so recent. So within the last year. So the UN comes and they find that white police officers are a problem. And they also find that white people have been racist towards Asians. Now, we already know about white people being racist towards us. That's already the main narrative. But I want to walk you all through what the purpose of the UN is in coming over here. Here goes another one where the House passes anti-hate crime bill. So when the UN comes over here, they're going to say, well, the police are racist. White people are racist towards Asians. White people are racist towards Black people. What's next? White people don't believe in immigration, so they racist towards the immigrants are batting 1,000 when it comes to racism. White people are batting 1,000 when it comes to racism, right? Now, of course, this is a false narrative. Now, Iran, on this one, Iran threatened sanctions over the treatment of Black Americans. And what do you think Iran used? Iran used police brutality. You see, the playbook for George Floyd, and this is why I told you all that George Floyd was a setup. The purpose of George Floyd was to give a global image of policing in America. The purpose of George Floyd was to send out a global message of policing in America. No one is going to tell you the stats. No one's going to tell you the facts. No one's going to give you the truth. They're only going to give you imagery. They're only going to show you things that invoke your emotion. Somebody said the live's not showing up on Instagram. I was knocked off of IG. Now I can't see you live on there. It's not even showing you live. Well, this is what I'm going to do, you all. I'm going to stop my live right here, and then I'm going to come back on and see if that works. Sorry about that on my podcast. Oh my goodness. Hold on one second, YouTube. Okay, so we're going to try it again. We're going to try it again. My live was fine on Instagram. Okay, it said it was getting kicked off. The numbers showed that there was something wrong because the numbers were like almost matching my numbers on YouTube, and that never, like my Instagram numbers usually way more on Instagram than YouTube. I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna start over again though. I'm gonna try to do it again. Okay, let's see. I would like to welcome you all back to my live. I'm starting over. Thank you, Queen Wheezy. I would like to welcome you all back. What's up, Bree Bree? I would like to welcome you all back to my live. Okay, we back. Today's live is brought to you all by Matter Global Network. Black Lives Matter Global Network is making the world a better place. Black Lives Matter is ending racism by the second in America. BLM has done so many great things. It really has made America a better place. Black Lives Matter is tackling all of the racial issues, and it's helping the Black community advance in America. So this video is brought to you all by Black Lives Matter Global Network. And we really love and appreciate all of the hard work that Black Lives Matter is doing. This video was brought to you today by Black Lives Matter and the Democratic Party. Thank you. Okay, now we can get started. So back to what I was saying before I was so rudely cut off. Now I got to start back over. So I mentioned earlier, before my live was acting up, that what Instagram and YouTube are doing is they're practicing modern day segregation. Now, what happens is they'll tell you that someone like me can't talk about what I talk about. And I realized I struck a nerve when I started addressing Black culture, not Black people, not white people, but Black culture. And I realized something, that Black culture is what everybody feeds off of. This whole matrix, the Blatrix, works through Black culture. This whole thing works through Black culture. So everybody's like parasites feeding off of Black culture. So what social media is doing is social media is creating its own for colored people. So what they're saying is, just like back in the day, you can go on stage and do blackface. You can go on stage and do comic relief. You can go on stage and be foolish. You can make songs about destroying your people. You can do anything you want to do as long as it doesn't uplift your people, as long as it doesn't go against the narrative. They don't mind you being Black on social media. They mind you being Black on social media addressing the real issues. And so I was explaining to a friend the other day, I was explaining that they're going to use racism to get the UN over here. They're going to use racism to get the UN troops over here. That's going to be their goal, is to use the racism narrative to get the UN over here. So I'm going to try to speed through what I was saying earlier, because people were getting thrown off my live and my live wasn't even showing. So I understand that I'm in the realm of shadows, but I want to make it clear. I want to be very clear. I'm in the realm of shadows because I'm telling the truth. So that means whatever I'm saying, the system doesn't like it. So that means you all out there that claim to be woke and revolutionaries, you're not, because they're not canceling your accounts. They're not banishing you to the realm of shadows. So let you know that. So what you're saying is an approved message. What I'm saying is not. So in the big revolutionary scheme of things, when it goes down in history, I'll be seen as the one that was revolutionary. You will not. Well, that was good. Now, China has been talking about racism in America. Iran has been talking about racism in America. So basically, I was talking about a recent article of Iran talking about how America was racist through what? Through police brutality. So the reason why they had the whole George Floyd thing was to let the world believe that white racist policing was synonymous with America. Now, we all know that in other countries, the police are way worse. Like America is probably might be the best country for policing. And I know it sounds crazy to say, but if you go to other countries, the police are so crooked to where there's no checks and balances with the police in any other countries like it is in America. There's no checks and balances in no other country with policing like it is in America. And I know it sounds hard. I know it sounds difficult. It's difficult to believe, but you're going to get the best policing in America. How do you know that? Because the police don't ask you all for bribes. The police don't pull you over and say, you got to bribe me to get out of something. Matter of fact, if you try to bribe the police, they will give you a ticket, take you to jail. So clearly there's some integrity when it comes to policing. So Iran is talking about how America is racist with police brutality. But we've already established, and I've done this through several videos, that the police brutality notion is a myth. It's a myth. It doesn't exist. You must think about and I keep telling you all this all the time. If they remove context, they are trying to deceive you. Most of the stuff they give you is out of context. So the news and the mass media makes you think that the police are killing us by the thousands. And it is a bold-faced lie. 99% of police homicides involve suspects that are armed, that have weapons. They don't show you how many police officers get killed. Just here in Atlanta, I think there's been something like 10 police officers that look like me that have been killed in Atlanta, and there's been no outrage. There's been police officers in Atlanta killed by people that look like me, and the officers look like me, and there's been no outrage. They don't even mention police getting killed. They don't even mention what police go through. They don't even mention police even having PTSD. Do you know how hard it is to police a group of people that have the highest homicide rate in the world? Do you know how hard it is to police a people that don't have a family structure intact? Do you know how hard it is to police a people that are dealing with poverty, that are dealing with self-hate problems, that are dealing with a culture of knowledge? Do you know how hard it is to police a people that are entertained by death, destruction, and damnation? So what Iran is doing what you will find that Russia has done, you will find that China has done. What they've done is they've used the George Floyd thing. The whole George Floyd narrative was to get the world to look at America as the most racist place. But we know it's not true because there's slavery in Africa right now. There's slavery in China right now. There's slavery in the Middle East right now. But the world thinks that America is the poster child for racism. And melanated people in America are represented in every facet of society, from the president down to the homeless person. Our community is represented in every single facet of society. That means we are entertainers, we are doctors, we are lawyers, we are scientists, we are presidents, we are vice presidents, we are senators, we are governors, we are mayors. We are represented in every facet of society in leadership positions. Tell me what country in the world where the disenfranchised are represented in every facet of society. Tell me what country in the world shows the disenfranchised of that country represented in every facet of society. Show me where. Pick a country. There is no country in the world where the disenfranchised group is represented in every facet of society, even the leader of the country. The whole racism narrative is one big psyop. And it is a psyop because there's a goal and a plan behind the racism narrative. There's a goal and there's a plan behind it. You might say, well, Blanche, America is racist. No, there are racist people in America. If I go to a grocery store and I grab a piece of meat and I take it home and the meat is spoiled, I will go and tell everybody that restaurant, that shopping center, I'm losing my train of thought. That grocery store sells bad meat. Now, that is a true statement because I bought the bad meat from this grocery store. But contextually, is it true? No, it's not. I could have bought the only pack of bad meat. I could have bought the pack of bad meat that the new person that was working there took from somewhere else and put it there on accident. I could have bought the one pack of bad meat from that grocery store, but yet everybody will believe that that grocery store only sells bad meat. So because we have racist people in America, It justifies America being racist. It's no different. It's no different than someone going somewhere and say I go to Arkansas and I'm driving and a pickup truck goes on the side of me and says, calls me the N-word, Confederate flag on the back, and they drive off. What am I going to tell people? Man, they racist in Arkansas. Man, they was driving up left and right calling me the N-word. It's all a lie. It's embellishment. So what happens is the whole George Floyd thing was embellishment. It was to get the world to think, wait a minute, this is how police act in America. Now in other countries, because the disenfranchised aren't represented, you don't see them on the media. In them other countries, they don't have a Black History Month. In them other countries, they don't have commercials about them. In those other countries, nobody is pandering to them. Nobody. It's an absolute setup. And so, what I said earlier, they're going to get the UN over here behind the Trojan horse of racism. They're going to get the UN over here behind the Trojan horse of racism. We got Iran talking about racism. Iran. We got China talking about racism. We got Russia talking about racism. We got everybody talking about how racist America is, but if you go to their countries, you can't do nothing. You got all these people talking about how America is racist, but if you go to their countries, you can't do nothing. But because most Black folks don't travel, we don't understand how the rest of the world is. And so in our minds, we think that America is actually racist, when in actuality, America is the least racist place in the world. I can almost guarantee you all right now, if you all have to go through the Hispanics to get, first of all, think about this. If the Democrats aren't giving you what you want, what makes you think the Hispanics are going to give you what you want? Joe Biden said, go to the Hispanics to get what you need. If the Democrats aren't giving you what you want, what makes you think the Hispanics are going to give you what you want? What makes you think the Asians are going to give you what you want? What makes you think the immigrants are going to give you what you want? All of those three groups have one thing in common. Those three groups have one thing in common. They don't sympathize with you. There is nobody outside of America that is feeling sorry for you over here. You know how you know that's true? Do you want to know how you know that's true? I'll tell you. Because when they come over here, they don't fight for you. How do you know it's true? Because when the people outside of this country come over here, they don't fight for you. I'm not even saying they should. I'm saying they don't. So that's to let you know that the outside view of you in America is not of sympathy. You should know that Iran is just using this as a tactic against the US. Because you see, once the whole world agrees that America is racist, now the UN can come in. And when the UN comes in and they're bringing troops, they're not coming in to bring in troops to make you hire somebody that's Black. They're not bringing in troops to make you cure racism. They're bringing in the UN troops to replace the police because the police have been seen as dangerous. And who will be their number one enemy? I'll tell you, the evangelical white man. The white Christian, so to speak, is the number one enemy. That Kyle Rittenhouse case was publicized for one reason: to make you think that racism, the symbol of racism, was a white man with an AR-15. You see, before, the symbol for racism was Donald J. Trump. He was the symbol for racism. And I used to tell people, how could Donald Trump be the symbol for racism if we had racism before he was president? Didn't matter. didn't matter. This guy wrote an article right here. In the article, he states, I'm going to quote him, "I experience racism every day in America." This man right here. The hidden force behind the U.S.-Israeli racism. This man right here. He said, he's talking about the COVID, the jab, the COVID-19 sanctions, and how they're not, the U.S. isn't stepping in with the Peter pandemic in other countries like Iran. But this guy said he experiences racism every day, and he's a writer for Newsweek. Listen to me. This man is saying, I experience racism every day, but he's a writer for Newsweek. Do you all understand if it's true racism, you don't get to write for Newsweek? Do you understand that? If it's true racism, you don't get to write for Newsweek. Do you understand that? You think he's Muslim? He's Muslim. So you mean to tell me you're a Muslim, you're an Islamic Iranian in America writing for Newsweek, and America's racist? Okay. Anyway, I'm just letting you know that everybody's going to be on board with America being racist, but the purpose behind it will be to go against white people, but not just white people. The goal is to go against white men with guns. And I'm going to walk you all through this to let you know how all this stuff ties in together. Iran berates U.S. over police killing, slams racism. Now, you all don't want to look this up, but if you look up the actual numbers of police shootings of unarmed people, not armed, because if you got a gun, then you a threat. If you look up unarmed people being killed by the police, the max you're going to see in a year, the max of all races, because you know the media tells you that we're the only ones being murdered by the police. But you can look these numbers up. It's a lie. This is why the media only shows you one group of people getting killed by the police. This is why the media never shows you police officers being killed. And we have about 10 in Atlanta. We have police officers, melanated police officers in Atlanta being killed, and there's no outrage. No outrage. There's been probably 500 police officers in APD that have quit. They don't have enough police. So now the crime and homicide is escalating. How they gonna fix it? How they gonna fix crime without police officers? Now, what they're telling you is, if the police are gone, then the folks will act better. Well, we know that's a lie. We know when the cat's away, the mice will play. But in our community, when the cat's away, we just kill each other. The mice kill each other. Anyway, so I almost zoned out for a second. But police brutality is a narrative that leads into another narrative. So you have white police officers with badges and what else? Guns, symbol of racism. Kyle Rittenhouse, white teen with what? Gun. So what you're going to find is, then you have all these false flag events of these mass shootings. What is it? White with guns. So the image of racism is going to be white men, white young men with guns. Thanks for the badge. That will be the image of racism. And you all will say, that's right, they're racist, not really realizing that you all are playing Connect Four with the bottom missing. Y'all are throwing those red or black chips in the Connect Four, and they going right down to the floor. and y'all keep doing it, and you look down and on the floor, and the game is over. So listen, they can shadow ban me, they can do what they want. But I believe that I'm saying what the Most High wants me to say. So that means whatever they do to me is gonna go back on them 100-fold. I'm gonna trust the Most High, and I'm not gonna fear man. The UN to form panel to investigate racism. The United Nations is going to form a panel to investigate racism in policing. Now, imagine how crooked the police are around the world. Imagine how crooked the police are around the world, and the UN is going to form a panel to attack the US police. And you all don't believe that it's a setup. As crooked as these police are around the world, they want to form a panel to address the police the racist police in America. And I can almost guarantee you that the US police kill the least amount of people in this world. I can almost guarantee you if the police don't like you in other countries, they're going to kill you. I can almost guarantee it. I can almost guarantee if the police don't like it, they're going to kill you. Police in this country go to prison all the time. Police get caught selling drugs. Police get caught doing police go to prison in this country more than any other country in the world. How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet that in this country the police get held accountable more than any other police force on the planet? How much do you want to bet? It's going to require you to read. It's going to require you to read. Now, I'm going to tell you what the main issue these people have with me is the fact that I don't have all white followers. You see, it'd be different if folks that look like me wasn't listening to me. But the problem is, for as much as I get called a sellout, most of the folks that follow me look like me. For as much as I get called a sellout, most of the folks that follow me look just like me. That's the problem. They don't mind white folks following me. Trust me. They mind people that look like me following me. Because I have a message of self-accountability. What'd you say? She said I had to leave out of a meeting. And Blanche, you are shadow banned. Right? So you see that the message I have, bragging. I'm just saying they're taking away my badges, limiting my lot. They're doing all this stuff. Why? Why? Because I'm telling y'all the truth. That's why. So the UN is going to come over here, and their target is going to be white men with guns. But what's the ultimate goal? To get the guns. Listen, if they throw you out my live, just hop back on. That's all I don't know what to tell you. If they throw you out my live, just hop back on. That's all I can tell you. Nothing I can do about it. Y'all pray over the live. Pray that no weapon formed against me. I'm going to trust the Lord. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Touch not my anointed. Do my prophet no harm. All I can do is just speak the word of the Most High over this. So that's all we can do. That's all I can do. Whatever Instagram does to me, may it be done to them 1,000-fold. Whatever YouTube does to me, may it be done 1,000-fold. Whatever they do, plan for evil, may the Most High do plan for good, change for good, and so on and so forth. I'm not finna sit here and let these folks get my mind routed and all that. Forget all that. I got a YouTube channel. They do the same thing. It's what I'm saying. It's what I'm saying. It ain't nothing. It's what I'm saying. I can say this same thing in the streets with a microphone and a speaker. It'd be the same reaction. It's the truth. So what I'm saying is they want to get the guns. So all of this racism talk is going to be a way for them to get the guns. That's what they want. You think Iran cares? Hold up. With as much crooked stuff as Iran does to its people, do you think they really care about racism in America? Stop. But see, the problem is we don't travel enough to see the world. UN takes on global racism. When they talk about global racism, conveniently, that means America. When they talk about global racism, conveniently, that means America. And I ask you all again, when they come over here, what are they going to find? They're going to find that white people with guns are the racists. So they show you Kyle Rittenhouse's case every day, all day. Ghislaine Maxwell, not so much. They show you Kyle Rittenhouse's case every day, all day. Ghislaine Maxwell, not so much. Why not? Ghislaine, whatever her name is, G Maxwell's trial is the biggest trial in history because it involves all of the global leaders, all of the who's in Hollywood and society and around the world. This is the biggest court case of our time and not even showing it. But they brought you Kyle Rittenhouse. And you all don't think it's a setup. Why would they show you Kyle Rittenhouse and not Ghislaine Maxwell? I'll tell you. Because the Kyle Rittenhouse case deals with the image of young white man with guns. And then what was followed up behind Kyle Rittenhouse case? A young man doing a school shooting. Think about it. After the Kyle Rittenhouse case, he was 17. An even younger kid, 16, was involved in a school shooting. You see how that works? You see, the image of racism is the white man, white young man with a gun. That's the image of racism. And you all are going to fall for it. You all are going to fall for it because you're emotional. You're emotional. You're emotional. Oh, this ain't the one. This ain't the one I want. I try to save these images before, but sometimes they don't go down to scale because of the way the format is on IG. But let me find this one. Okay, this is the CDC director, and they're talking about how they're going to start investigating gun violence. What the CDC is going to do is the CDC is going to say that gun violence is an epidemic because they already had the numbers. And you all don't realize that the numbers they are using for the country, over half of those numbers come from us, our community. So the stats they're going to use to lead to taking away the guns are going to come from our community. Because we account for over of the homicides in the country, and it's our men doing it. So that means it's 65% of the population accounting for over 50% of the homicides. So when they get rid of these folks' guns, just know they're going to use your statistics. They're not going to tell you, though, they're going to use them. They're going to use them. Now, all they can say is, Blanche is a sellout. But they'll never tell you I'm lying. CDC director wants the agency to take on firearm violence for the first time in decades. I'm not here about gun control. Why would she say that? What's up, Colette? Why would she say that? No, listen. The Second Amendment protects the right to bear arms, right? But if the right to bear arms is seen as an epidemic, then it's out of the jurisdiction of the Second Amendment because it's now an epidemic. It's a health hazard. This, this is how they work around this stuff. They work around it because they label it something else. So it's not going to be gun control. It's going to be stopping gun violence, the epidemic of gun violence. I keep telling you all, y'all are playing Connect Four. Y'all are playing Connect Four with the bottom out. And so you keep putting the chip in there and it keeps falling to the floor. The only problem is you only have a certain number of chips. So eventually, when you run out of chips, the game's going to be over. So they're going to look at gun violence as a disease. Think, people. The UN is coming to investigate racism. The CDC is saying that gun violence is a disease. So now you have the United Nations and the CDC coming together over gun ownership. Who owns the most guns? White people, white men. So the goal behind all of this is to get rid of the guns, but they're going to use the Trojan horse of racism. And I saw this 2 years ago. I remember there used to be tweets on social media that would go viral, tweets of Donald Trump. And I literally started following Donald Trump on Twitter to see if the tweets were real. You know what I found? 99.9% of the tweets that went viral from Donald Trump were fake. 99% of the tweets that went viral by Donald Trump were fake. So that means all a person had to do was read the tweet and go to his Twitter account, and nobody did it. So when I talk about these far-fetched plans, just know people have fallen for the simple plan. So normally we think these plans are elaborate. They're not. There's a game called 3-Card Monte, right? They're literally playing 2-Card Monte. They're showing you a little pebble or seed or whatever, a pea. They're showing you 2 cards. They doing this and y'all can't figure it out. 2 cards, not 3-Card Monte. They're doing 2-Card Monte. Anyway, so they're going to be going behind the Trojan horse of racism. And the reason why I've been telling you all to reject the racism narrative is because they're going to use it against you. I have some stats here. All homicides, number of deaths is 19,000. And all firearm homicides are 14,000. Out of this 14,000, now this is from the CDC. Out of this 14,000 homicides, over half of those are committed by our men in our community. But they'll use these numbers to justify it being a disease, but they'll never mention who's actually doing most of the killing. They'll never mention it. As I said earlier, as I showed you all earlier, what they've done is we have created a culture that is anti-consequence for bad behavior. And this is Black culture. This is Black culture. A culture of anti-consequence for bad behavior. So what we've really been doing is we've been fighting and marching and protesting to do what's wrong. How do we know this? Because last year, when they interviewed people that were protesting, their justification was that white people did it to them years ago. They knew it wasn't right. They justified it by saying, well, they did it to us before. I just heard someone say that I follow on YouTube. He said, for 400 years, we should be able to do anything to white people and get away with it. That's what he said. 400 years. Now, there's a narrative going around that slavery lasts for 400 years. But we know it's not true. And we know it's not true because slavery started here in 1619 and it ended in 1865. That's not 400 years. I'm sorry. I hate to be the bearer of bad news with actual facts, but it just wasn't 400 years. We say 400 years because it sounds good, but it hasn't been 400 years. You see, let me tell you something right now. Most of the groups you see, now scratch that. 100% of the organizations that Black people started in America, 100% of them are founded on white inferiority. 100%. If you talk to a Moor, a Hebrew Israelite, a Black Panther, a Black nationalist, a Pan-Africanist, a BLM member, a woke hotep, if you talk to any Black person in America, only Black in context because we are not Black, only Black in context for this conversation. If you talk to any Black person in America fighting against this system, it's all founded on an inferiority complex to white people. There's no way you could feel the same as white and give white people that much attention. You wouldn't do it. So I don't care if it's a Moor, a Hebrew Israelite, a Black Panther, a Black nationalist, NAACP, BLM, woke hotep. I don't care if it's any group, Nation of Islam, every Black group in America that calls themselves helping out Black people is founded on an inferiority complex with white people. Every last one of them. When you talk to the people and you get to the core and the foundation of it, every last one of them don't like white people. But they don't like white people not because, think about it, they don't like white people because they feel equal to white people. They don't not like white folk because they feel inferior to white people. Superior to white people. They don't like white people because they feel subconsciously inferior. Because the whole racism narrative says that white people are superior and you are inferior. How can I prove that? You don't control Black people, listen to me. You don't control any industries in America. The Africans in Africa literally gave their country away to the Europeans and the Asians. Africans had a whole continent and they gave it away to the Europeans and the Asians in America. So Africa is disqualified from talking in this conversation. So remove Africa. The people in the Caribbean had their countries taken away by the Europeans and the Asians and the Americans. So they're excluded. Haiti was the only one that beat the French, but then the French turned around and made them pay the tax and they paid it. So the Haitians didn't really win. So remove the Haitians. Now let's focus on America. Black people in America, Moors of America, Hebrew Israelites of America, Black Indians of America, indigenous people of America, whatever y'all, chosen people of America, whatever you all want to be called, you all don't own a single thing in America. You all don't control a single thing in America. You all don't own or control a single thing in America. Please explain to me how you all are a threat to white people. You're not organized. You don't own anything. You don't control anything. And you have no means to defend yourself. Please explain to me how you all are a threat to white people. The Asians are a threat because they have a country that backs them and they're organized in America and they're economically secure in America. The Hispanics have a country supporting them and they have numbers and they stick together more than you all. So the Asians are a threat for a reason. The Hispanics are a threat for a reason. The immigrants are even a threat for a reason because they all come from a country. So I'm gonna ask you again. You don't control or own anything. You can't defend yourself. You're not organized. You're not unified. So explain to me how you all are a threat to America. Please. You aren't. You aren't. And so part of your ego and narcissism has you believing that white people somehow want to keep you down from some kind of potential that you haven't shown in about 70 years. You all believe that white folks are keeping y'all down for something y'all are going to potentially do, but that you haven't done in 70 years. You know, you all aren't the old school Negroes back in the day. Y'all aren't them. Y'all get tricked by BLM. Y'all not them. Y'all get tricked by Kyle Rittenhouse cases. Y'all not them. Y'all get tricked by fake tweets. Y'all get tricked by CNN. Y'all aren't them. So y'all aren't the old Negroes. Angel of wisdom. Yeah, we can have a conversation. Y'all aren't them. Y'all aren't the old Negroes. Y'all are something that's been watered down and is pretty much helpless in America. And at this point, without white people, y'all would be doomed. Based on what I've seen over these past 2 years, if white people leave the planet, like I've stated, you all will call them racist for leaving. And then you would just start blaming the Hispanics for being racist and the Asians and the immigrants. That's all you would do. Somebody said the old Negroes were tricked another way. You're right, they were. Because all the movements being compromised. Every last movement that we've ever had has been compromised. Every last movement. There's not been one organic movement. Now, our women brag about being the most educated group in the US. Black Girl Magic. But they also got the most debt. Black women owe 22% more student loan debt than white women on average. This is why Joe Biden wasn't going to stop the student loans. I could have told y'all this. I could have told y'all how many black people are in debt from student loans and why that was the very reason why Joe Biden wasn't going to do it. I could have told you that. And y'all keep saying y'all got tricked. You didn't get tricked because I told you. Now, what you can say is, I didn't want to listen to Blanche because he made me feel bad. The civil rights movement was used by the Jews. It's 100% correct. We haven't had any organic movements. Even the Black Panthers used to go have debates with rich white people and rich white Jewish people for money. So even the Black Panther stuff wasn't organic. I know it's hard to hear. There hasn't been any organic movements in our community. I know it's hard to hear. I know it's hard for me to say it. But black women owe 22% more student loan debt than the white woman on average. That's the very reason. That's the very reason why he wasn't going to stop the student loan debt. He wasn't going to forgive it. I keep telling you all, Republicans and Democrats got two different philosophies. The Republicans say, y'all need to figure it out on your own. The Democrats say, the Republicans are racist, we got y'all. And y'all keep falling for it. And guess what? It's going to put y'all back into slavery. Not me. It won't put me back in slavery. Put a lot of my people back in slavery. And I'm not coming to save y'all. I'm going to tell y'all this right now. When y'all are in them camps, them FEMA camps and them green zone camps and all that, or them reservations way out in the middle of nowhere with no resources, when y'all in them places, I'm not playing Harriet Tubman. And I'm not playing Nat Turner. I'm not going to be your Harriet. I'm not going to be your Harry Tubman. I ain't gonna be the woman, so I've been the Harry. I ain't gonna be Harry Tubman. I'm not gonna be Nat Turner. I'm not gonna be Blanche Turner. I'm not coming to save y'all. So I'm letting y'all know now, when y'all in slavery, it's gonna be digital slavery in the future. When y'all in digital slavery and digital bondage, and you on them reservations or them camps somewhere, I'm not coming to save you. So don't make no quilts. Don't make no Underground Railroad 2.0. I'm not, because I ain't coming. I'm not coming. Y'all gonna suffer through that. I'm not coming. I wish I would come try to save y'all. Y'all to call me sell out and bootlicker this whole time. I'm not coming to save nan one of y'all. The impact of student debt crisis on black women. Remember now, black girl magic, black girl magic, black girl magic. We the most educated, but they're not talking about how much debt y'all have being the most educated. So now you tied to the system and stuck to the system. I knew they wasn't going to forgive the student loan debt because too many of our people got student loan debt. I know this. 40% of the black corporate workforce comes from HBCUs. 40% of the black corporate workforce comes from HBCUs. I know good and well Biden ain't finna cure that ill. I know he's not. I know he's not. I know he's not. But Black Girl Magic got y'all in debt. So they said we fell for it. And this is why when I talk to women, this is why when I talk to women, I talk about a woman's value. I don't talk about a woman's skin color. I talk about like this picture right here. The black man is the original man. What does this mean? Has this narrative, okay, let me ask y'all a question. Why is it that the more we push out, we the original man, we the chosen people, we guys on the earth, all this stuff, why is it getting worse? Can someone explain this to me? How is it that we are praising ourselves for being, we know that we God's people, all this stuff. So explain to me, how is it getting worse? How? How could knowledge of self make it worse for a people? I'll tell you why. Because the black man being the original man doesn't involve any character. Black folks being the chosen people doesn't involve any character. Black folks being guys on the earth doesn't involve any character. It doesn't involve any character. That is the issue with our people. We live in a culture of no character. Zero. Everything is based on what it looks like. How can I take credit for my skin if I didn't give myself my skin? I was born this way. I got to give my parents credit. How am I taking credit for something I didn't even put in on? That's like somebody that's the 12th man on the bench talking about we killed y'all. He wasn't even in the game. Black people are the 12th man on the bench in a championship celebration talking about we killed y'all. 12th man on the bench. 12th man on the bench. You know why? Because when a 12th man on the bench says we killed y'all, it's not a character statement. It's not a character statement. We the original black man. So what? What is it? Was it done for us? Y'all had a whole planet. The original people had an entire planet and we lost it to some people that we claim are inferior. Y'all tell me that white folks are inferior. So explain to me how we lost the whole planet to some white people. We building pyramids, we using our minds, we got great civilization, we create math, we doing all this great stuff. And y'all telling me some folks came from the mountains running down on all fours and they was able to conquer us. Did that story make sense? Some people came from the mountains, let y'all tell it. Some savage beast came from the mountains and was able to conquer God's chosen people, the original people, the civilized people. Do that even make any? Listen, honestly, I would be ashamed to tell the story. I would be ashamed to tell the story. That's like a boxer losing a boxing match against a one-arm boxer. Imagine a boxer fighting another boxer, all he got is one arm. He lose, and the one with two arms lose the fight. That's what we sound like. How did y'all let them white folks that were so primitive, so barbaric, so savage, come from them mountains and take y'all whole world away? How did it happen? I wouldn't even say it. I'd be too ashamed to say it. I would be too ashamed to even mention that. The story don't make no sense. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. We created all this great stuff and some white people eating raw meat, no fire, wearing animal skins, came down on all fours, no strategy, no planning, no brains, just barbaric, came down on all fours, saw us civilized. We got swords and shields and spears, cities of gold, mathematicians, scientists, all this great stuff. We got Wakanda. That's equivalent to an army of white folks in a trailer park taking over Wakanda. An army of trailer park redneck white people taking over Wakanda. That's what y'all sound like. And if you go back to the movie Wakanda, in the end of the movie, who was sitting in the main seat in that movie? All the black folks down there fighting. One's wearing red, one's wearing blue. It's symbolism. All the black folks on the field fighting, and the white man's up in the main seat in that computer, controlling everything. Ain't that crazy? In Wakanda, when they got the black folks fighting in Wakanda, the Africans, the Wakandians fighting, and the white man is sitting at the computer controlling everything. They put it in the movies for y'all. They put it in the movies for you all. In Wakanda, all the Wakandians were fighting themselves, and the white man was in that computer seat controlling everything. And y'all didn't even see that. Y'all didn't even see that. Ain't that funny? How the movie show you the truth? How did that white man from America get all the way to Wakanda to be in the head seat when the battle's going on? He got access to the whole Wakanda. So if you tell the story about how we was the first people, also tell the story how we got conquered by some inferior people. And then once the inferior people conquer the superior people, now the inferior people become the superior people, and the once superior people become the inferior people. This is why I tell you all to let go of the racism narrative. Because the whole racism narrative is white people are superior and you are inferior. in the racism story, you always lose. Okay, let me get back to so I can write this up. So now we're USA Today was mocked because they had a headline that said math was racist. Now, Bill Gates funds a company that is talking about, that is investigating or proving that math is racist. And you do realize that math is God's language because math is obsolete. I mean, not obsolete. Math is absolute. So 2 + 2 is 4. If 2 + 2 is no longer 4, then it's over. You know, once math becomes subjective, you won't be able to tell the truth anymore. So a good sign of math of your right to tell the truth being taken away is if math is seen as racist. Oh, now they putting time restrictions on my stuff again. Okay, so now they really back to normal now. I got 2 minutes left. Now they done shadow ban my stuff again and made it an hour again. Now they back on the BS. But so I'm gonna stop it right now, and I'm gonna just jump back on so I can finish what I'm talking about. All right. YouTube, you all hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, YouTube. Yeah, they taught us to hate math, of course. So I'm jumping right back in. So basically, they want you all to believe that math is racist. And if math is racist, then they want you to be stupid and dumb. So the end goal is, if math is racist, they're telling you that they don't think that education is important for you. So what's going to happen is going to be a whole nation of people that are going to be dumb because you're going to just say that school is racist. You see, what they're doing is they're dumbing you and watering you down. You know, back in the day, think about all of the lawyers and people that, well, think about this. Think about people like the Black Panthers, right? And I try to tell my cousin this. My cousin tried to sell me on the fact that she wanted to be a a revolutionary. She wanted to fight for the people. Now I know when my people tell me stuff like that, they don't want to work. You know, so I know that anybody want to fight against racism, you don't really want to work. It's not a real job, because fighting against real racism is not glamorous. Nobody would know who you were, because in the court system, when they prove racism, they always cut you a check because racism is economic. But anyway, so my little cousin, she said she wanted to be a revolutionary and fight for the people, but she tells me this after she drops out of college. So she does 1 year of college and drops out and says she wanted to help the people. And I had to remind her that if you look throughout history in America, all the people that have quote unquote fought for our people were all educated. They all PhDs and master's degrees. They were all educated. So I told her, I said, if you study history, all of the people were intellectuals. Somebody said it. They're all smart. They all went to school. So it's funny how they're fighting against racism, but they got a doctorate. How did you get a doctorate in racist America? You go to other countries, the disenfranchised people can't get doctorates. But we got people that went to Harvard. Joy Reid went to Harvard, and she's saying America's racist. Joy Reid went to an Ivy League school, and she's saying America's racist. Now, back in the 60s and the 50s, all those people that were fighting for us were educated. And we got all of our advancements through the court systems. The court in America has been our best friend. If you look at the advancement of our people, it's come through the judicial system and politics up until a certain point. Somebody said Fred Hampton quit college, joined the Black Panthers. Yeah, well, Fred Hampton also didn't last very long. He also wasn't a Black Panther very long. So he got murdered rather quickly. And I don't know, I don't put him in the same category, but he's an anomaly. Most of the people that was in the Panthers that were leaders were educated. So and this is another thing that we got to realize too, is that it doesn't have to be 100% for it to be a rule. That is liberal thinking. That is liberal ideology. If 100 people jump off a cliff and one person lives, the rule is you're going to die jumping off a cliff. So as a people, we have to get out of the habit of something having to be 100% for it to be true. It being 100% doesn't make it true. I'm pretty sure there have been one or two people to defy the odds. 99.9% of the people are not going to defy the odds. So we don't go by the anomalies. We go by the rules. Now, the Black Panthers weren't really. Somebody from the Boule approached you. Thanks for the badges, baptized. Now, the Black Panthers weren't ever a threat. They weren't. They were controlled by the system. Listen, you all, none of these groups were a threat. They were already compromised and controlled by the. Listen, how do you think these organizations can be here at one moment and be gone the next? They controlled. They're controlled. I'm sorry to tell y'all this, they controlled. I just told y'all the Black Panthers were going to the rich white Jews and the rich white liberals to get their money. They're controlled. Listen, the uncomfortable truth for many of you all to accept is all this stuff has been a lie. It's been a lie. The only way this stuff works is if that stuff is true. And if that stuff ain't true, this stuff don't work. They want you to be socialists. Why? So you can be powerless. They want you to be enslaved. Racism in our curriculums isn't, what's that word? Oh, racism in our curriculums isn't limited to racism in our curriculums isn't limited to history, it's math too. Now, who do you think is going to rally behind them getting on TV and saying education is racist, you don't need it? Who do you think is going to support that narrative? Who? Who do you all think is going to support the narrative that education is racist? That's where they're going. Who? What group of people is going to rally behind them getting on TV and say that education is racist? Who? Who? You know who? If math is racist, all is lost. Math is God's language. 2 + 2 = 4. It always has and it always will. Once 2 plus 2 equals 5, you're going to be in trouble. Once 2 plus 2 equals 5, you're going to be in trouble. Now, when we talk about, somebody mentioned human rights. When we talk about human rights, you remove the emotion. This is why MLK and Malcolm X got killed. Now, Fred Hampton got murdered. If you all do your research, you will find it how many Black Panthers had killed police officers. They're not going to tell you this. The Panthers and the police officers were killing each other. They're not going to tell you this. They're not going to tell you how many Black Panthers killed police officers because it changes the narrative. They're not going to tell you that. So it wasn't a one-sided battle. I'm sorry. You can look at Atlanta right now. The police are getting killed. Ain't nobody saying nothing. Police getting shot sitting in their cars, getting killed in domestic violence calls. The police getting killed in Atlanta right now that look like us. Ain't nobody saying nothing. So the stuff been happening. It's been going on. They got to make this stuff about race to make you emotional about it. Somebody mentioned on YouTube, Oregon governor is pushing to take out math, reading, and writing as a requirement to graduate from high school. I'm glad you said that because I got it sitting right here in my notes. In my notes right here. In my notes. How does race affect a student's math education? A new paper examines the ways whiteness reproduces racial advantages and disadvantages. What does math have to do with race? They told y'all to trust the science, right? And look where it got you. Now we know that science can be manipulated because much of science is interpretation. Much of science is opinion. But math isn't. 2 plus 2 is 4. 1 plus 1 is 2. If I take away 1 from 2, I'm left with 1. Math ain't subjective. It's not. Math is God's language. It's absolute. It's the truth. Somebody said cop is a cop, but it's beyond it is race, because the image of white racist policing is white people. They don't show you Asian cops talking about race. When they talk about racism with cops, it's white cops. They don't show you Asian cops. There was an Asian cop standing next to Chauvin. They didn't focus on him. When it comes to racism in police, it's white. Even though we got all races of police officers, when it comes to policing and racism, it is white police officers specifically. They even say it, white police officers. So it is race. There ain't no big push to get rid of black police officers. Now I got somebody in here that said the slave patrol getting killed never bothered, but it should. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem. Now we got Oregon right now. Oregon, if you remember, Oregon said they made all the hard drugs legal, right? I need a better. It's too big. Oregon said they made all the hard drugs legal, right? Right. So now we got we got Oregon making the hard drugs legal, and now they're saying that you don't have to have the essential requirements to graduate from high school to graduate. Oregon suspends essential skills proficiency graduation requirement. So reading, math, writing, you don't need those things. Now listen, we already know in our community, Black culture says you don't have to read. So I'm just letting you all know right now that this, what they're doing, is going to be heavily appealing to those that are involved in Black culture. So Black culture says education is not important. It already says it. I'm letting you know that Oregon already said that the hard drugs are legal, and now Oregon is saying that they're going to suspend the essential skills of proficiency to graduate. The essential skills. Think about that. Essential means you need them. They're going to suspend the skills you need to graduate. So now we got drugs legal and no education. What does that breed? That breeds a slave. What type of state is Oregon? A liberal state. Now you see what they want. They want slavery. They want socialism. They want communism. Our main problem with our community is we don't read. Now they're telling you it's okay not to read, and reading is racist. The number one problem in our community is we get 99% of our information from somebody that don't know what the hell they talking about. You talk to the average person in our community, they're going to regurgitate some misinformation. I'm about to get out of here. It'll mess me up today with all this kicking folks off my live and all this stuff. And isn't it funny that it's going to be millions of people going to see The Matrix 4 and the movie's going to be about them? It's going to be millions of folks jabbed up, chipped up, going to see the movie, and the movie is literally talking about them. And they're going to say they woke. How you going to be woke? How you going to be woke and you going to see The Matrix jabbed up? Yeah, reading it. Think about that. Reading is racist. Writing is racist. And math is racist. It's where we are. It's where we are. And he looked like John Wick. So you're right. So now we got John Wick. Neo done turned to John Wick. They done threw my whole live off today. And I wish I could show this. This is on the Perfect Drugs page. I wish I could show this. I wish I could read the whole thing. But basically, this white liberal says that reading big words is racist because most Black people don't understand big words due to a lack of education. So when you're trying to act smart in front of Black people, you're being racist. This is how white liberals feel about you all. This is how white liberals feel about you all. They feel like you're stupid. They feel like you don't have enough sense to go and get an ID. But you got it. Your ID has to match your. Hold on. Do y'all realize that your ID has to match your jab card? Your ID has to match your jab card. But they're also telling you that you don't have enough sense to get an ID to vote. Does that make any sense? You have to have your ID to match your jab card. They're saying it's racist to ask for an ID to vote. Does that make sense? Does that make any sense? These people think that you all are stupid. In a lot of cases, they're actually right though, because you got to be kind of dumb to think that showing your ID for a jab card is not racist, and then showing your ID to vote is racist. You got to be kind of dumb to believe that. Like you got to be kind of stupid. So maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. We ain't got enough sense to do it. But these white liberals believe that you all are uneducated. They believe that you all are slow. They believe that you all don't have the capacity to govern yourselves. These are white liberals. All those Karens y'all complain about, all those Karens are white liberals. Karens are white liberal women. Y'all need to have enough sense to listen. There are different kinds of white people. I know it's easy to say all white people, but there are different kinds of white people clearly, because you have Donald Trump and you have Joe Biden. It's different white people. So you have liberal white people, you have conservative white people, you have racist white people, you have I don't care white people, you have rebellious white people, you have white people that want to take somebody else's identity on. White folks act like other races or culturally do it. There are different kinds of white people. All white folks are not the same. So just like you say that we aren't monolithic, neither are white people. They are not monolithic. There are different kinds of white people. But it lets me know that you all don't interact with white folks a lot because you don't know that. You don't interact with white folks enough to know that. You don't know conservative white versus radical. You don't know Hell's Angel white person versus liberal white person. You don't know conspiracy theorist white person, rabbit hole white person versus conservative white person. You don't know the difference. All them folks are different. But I can tell you who displays the most monolithic behavior before I go. The most monolithic behavior is displayed in our community because we are the only group that votes the way we do, that spins the way we do, and that kills the way we do. And that's all because of Black culture. What unifies us is Black culture. So to make a long story short, before I go, what do all these things have in common? Now, what I'm showing you all is a picture of Democrat symbol, logo, KKK members, Black Lives Matter, and Metaverse. What do all these things have in common? They all working together. The KKK is working with the media. That's why you only see them when the liberal media comes out, CNN, MSNBC, and all that. Democrats, obviously self-explanatory. Black Lives Matter, they share the funding with Democrats, work for Democrats. BLM works for Democrats. Meta works for the Democrats, the metaverse. That's why Facebook was censoring all your stuff. Just for Mark Zuckerberg to get in court and admit that the fact checks are opinion-based. Mark Zuckerberg done ruined people's accounts, people's livelihoods, snatching accounts from Instagram and Facebook, ruining people's careers, and this man just said that fact checks were opinion. Think about that. People's lives have been ruined just for him to get on stage and say that fact checks were opinion. The only reason they were snatching your account is because it was fact checked and proven to be false. He admitted that fact checks are opinion based. So Metaverse, BLM, KKK, and Democrats are all the same thing. They are the same things working for the same entity. Well, It's time for me to go, you all. It's time for me to go. Been on here long enough. They set me back a little bit. But I want to leave you all with this. If it's always someone else's fault, then they will always have rule over you. If it's always someone else's fault, then you will always be a slave because your solution will always rest in the person's fault, in the person you're giving fault to. So just wake up when you go to bed tonight, pray, say, Lord, whoever you pray to, hopefully it's the Almighty, the Most High. But if you pray, say, Lord, tomorrow I don't want any racism to affect my life. And when you wake up the next morning, just pretend there's no more racism. And I guarantee your life will change drastically. For some reason, the birds will be chirping louder. The birds used to chirp, and it's like they were saying the N-word. Now the birds are chirping and saying good things to you, like welcome. The sun is shining brighter. People are smiling more. People are waving more. Just wake up and say no more racism. Because at the end of the day, whether racism is real or not, you don't control it either way. Whether racism is real or not, you don't control it either way. So just know, if it's real or not, they're going to still use it against you. So again, somebody say, I just heard the birds when you said that. Good. You got to understand something, you all, that the Most High loves you. And this planet, so if the Almighty Heavenly Father made this earth for you, then that means out of love, then that means what? This earth loves you too. So everything in this earth wants to work in harmony and in unison with you. Even the earth wants to work with you because the earth itself actually loves you because the earth was created out of love. And so what you must understand is these wicked and evil people want to change the planet so that the planet is a weapon against you. Because right now, the planet doesn't work with the evil people of the planet. The planet works with us. So their goal is to get the planet to go against you, and eventually, the planet go against God. So what I tell you all is that when you wake up tomorrow morning, stop looking at race. Because race is what you make it. So if you believe that all white people are racist, then you're going to attract every racist white person to you. If you believe all good people are good people, you're going to attract all the good people to you. If you wake up with positive thoughts and speak positively, positive things will happen. The reason why, I'm going to leave on this, there will be no Black organization that will ever work in America. No Black organization will ever work in America, ever. And do you know why? Because the foundation of all those Black organizations is not built on love. They're not. They built on fear. They built on inferiority. They built on hate. They built on manipulation, but they're not built on love. And that's why none of them have worked. None of them will ever work because they're not built on love. I love you all, and I thank you all. Let me get specific before I go. That goes for any organization. So that goes for the Hebrew Israelites. That goes for the KKK. That goes for the Moors. That goes for the white nationalists. That goes for the NAACP. That goes for BLM. That goes for Black Panthers. That goes for the woke hoteps. That goes for any organization that's talking about advancing their race. It will not thrive. It will not work. It's not built on love. But specifically in our community, they're not going to work at all. Because what they're built on is an inferiority complex, literally. White people are here, we're down here. So when I hear these groups talking, they always go back to white people. All these groups always go back to white people. And I said, if y'all think about white folks this much, you have to be worshiping them. Y'all don't mention God this much. You got to be worshiping them. I want you all to be free. And the only way to free a person is with the truth. Not knowledge, not information, not even wisdom. The only thing that can free a person is the truth. And that's why they want to get rid of math. And that's why they want to get your guns. And that's why they want you in bondage. Because they know if we get rid of the truth, they're already enslaved. Somebody said we put the whites on the pedestal. It's an inferiority complex. And it's true. And it's enough's enough. I put a post up about hair, and 6 to 7% of the population in the US, which is our women, indigenous, melanated women in America, 6 to 7% are accounting for 80% of the hair products bought. And people are trying to justify that. Do you know how insane that is? That's almost 100% of a market. Do you know how insane that is? 80% of a market from one group of people is beyond preference. It's beyond style. It's beyond fashion. That is an obsession. That is a culture. That is a way of life. That is your identity. Come on, 80%? 80%? Our women are buying 80% of the hair products on the market. That leaves 20% of the hair products for 93% of the rest of the women in the country. And you don't think it's a problem? Oh, it's just choice. It's just the way we feel. It's just our ancestors. Stop. The only thing that can set you free is the truth. If you look at any other person on this planet and you have hate for them, you're not going to make it. If you look at any other person on this planet and you have some hate for them, you are not going to make it. I can guarantee it. Because the moment you hate that person, based on what they look like, you have already put yourself in bondage to them. This is why God says you have to forgive, because God knows that unforgiveness makes you a slave to the person you're not forgiving. This is why Black people in America are stuck, because we can't forgive the past, a past we never even experienced. So we're actually bonded to white people because we can't forgive them. I'm gone. I love y'all and thank you all for everything. Thank you all on YouTube so much. Mimi, I see you. Sonia, I see you. God's awesome. Mary, I see you. I love y'all. Goodbye. Instagram, I love y'all too. I'm gone.